Welcome back to the Devil S NFL podcast. I'm Sam,
I'm Spencer.
and today we have
This,
the New York Giants,
yep.
4-13 a year ago, and their offense was bad.
To to put it nicely, their offense was awful. I know it's probably the worst offense in football after
They're, to put it in a nice way, they sucked cow dick.
um and and their offensive line, which I thought would be improved last year, was probably the worst unit in all of football.
Giants haven't had a good offensive line since like 2012.
Um and not to mention he's their only Andrew Thomas is like their only and Evan Neal now, I guess you would say, are their
I do own a Andrew Thomas jersey, however, it is not here yet
not here
and
yet.
won't be here until week 2.
All right, let's get started. But the Giants, they went through a lot this offseason. And start by talking about the new coaching hire and the new GM hire.
I like it. Anything's better than Joe Judge. I've been saying this for a while. If they kept Shermer at least one more year, they would have won the NFC East in 2020.
Well,
Judge
that's not a very hard
Jones
one.
was showing progression under what's fucking Shermer at the end of the year, and they fire him.
In 20,
Granted, I knew they were good in 2019, but
all right, I was thinking about this the other night. Do you think 2019 Giants were better or 2021 Giants were better? They had like same record.
2019 Giants had no hope from the beginning.
Yeah,
The
that's why.
2021 Giants gave me slight false hope in the middle of the year,
I mean,
especially after the Philadelphia win.
the 2019 Giants were 2-2 at one point, and
And then they
right,
lost 8 in a row,
I
9 in a
thought they
row,
were
whatever.
all right.
He didn't have
Giants,
much money to spend in the offseason. And go figure, their biggest signing was Mark Lewinsky.
yeah, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, he is an improvement over whatever the
It
hell they
was
have.
over. It's absolute improvement over whatever they had.
Yeah, he's competent at least.
You've forgotten your key offseason moves to say lost James Bradbury.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's uh. That's true. Also, what do you think of the Kayvon Thibodeau pick at number 5 overall?
I loved it. They drafted Thibodeau knowing that they were getting one of those two offensive linemen. And lo and behold, they got Evan Neal.
All right. Yeah. So I think Thibodeau was an A+ pick by Joe Schoen here, but at the same time, like I thought their second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh rounds could have been a whole lot better. Like I am a Wan'Dale Robinson fan, but picking him when you have a very similar receiver and Kadarius Toney made no sense, in my opinion. I would have gone with the Nakobe Dean player there. I would have gone um even like a George Pickens type player. But nope, they went with Wan'Dale Robinson. They took the wrong receiver there. Um Evan Neal's a solid pick. He's been struggling so far, but he's a rookie. Expected struggles. What do you think of the Brian Dable? I mean the Joe Schoen hire.
I like it. He ran a good team in Buffalo. And he made some good moves this offseason.
He's finally looking like at least a competent GM. Like, have I loved all of his moves? No, I haven't. But Dave Gettleman was absolutely terrible. And I think under like Brian Dable and Joe Schoen, in a few years, this Giants front office will be pretty good once they accumulate more talent. All right. So we already talked about Brian Dable a little bit. Um But personally, I don't think he's going to be a great coach, and the reason for that being his 2020 was unbelievably good, but his 2019 and 2021 were pretty inconsistent as a coordinator, and that's what kind of concerns me. Do you have concerns about that?
Yeah, I do. But I feel like the his 2021's a little oversaid. I don't feel like they were that bad. It was that bad.
No, I don't think it was that bad. It's just that with the expectations they had last year, there were some games that were absolute duds. Like when they played Jacksonville, their week 1 game, like those games like shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, but those games happen throughout a season. You have those duds.
Yeah, they're duds occasionally. But I think
2019, it was his first year, and I don't really look that much into it. But
I think it'll be
offense was not very good in 2019, and they still
I,
made the playoffs.
yeah, I think he'll be fine though. I don't think he'll be this great coach, but he'll be the best Giants coach pretty easily since Tom Coughlin.
Like I've said before, Ben McAdoo was a good coordinator, a bad head coach. We'll get into that when we talk about Carolina.
What do you think about the O line? Where do you think it's gonna rank? And
A top 20? No, it's a top 25.
what positions do you have the most question marks about on the O line?
Offensive guard.
Why? What do you-
Because I don't really know where you get who's going to be there.
Like
Center, you have a good idea.
Max
Back,
Max Garcia was not good last year with Arizona, but Will Hernandez wasn't either, so it's kind of a lateral move.
Will Hernandez was fucking horrible.
Yeah. If he starts with the Cardinals, they're absolutely doomed. But I like the tackles a lot. Want to talk about them? What do you think about Andrew Thomas, Evan Neal?
I love them. Like I said earlier, I'm a proud owner of a Andrew Thomas jersey, although it's not here right now. Love that China shipping.
Um, what do you think about Aaron Robinson? Because after losing James Bradbury, the secondary is in shambles now.
Their quarters are going to be awful. I don't trust Dory Jackson.
Adoree Jackson's a good number 2 in my opinion, but as a number 1, I'm pretty skeptical. He hasn't proven to be a good number 1 yet.
Aaron Robinson, I guess, could be okay. I haven't seen much of him in the preseason.
He was bad in the first game, from what I'm hearing. Like he was getting torched left and right by like Tyquan Thornton.
Their
And like,
safety should be good.
oh yeah, the safety should be solid. And finally, the main topic when it comes to the Giants, Danny turnovers.
Danny Derps.
Do you think he's gonna?
Yeah, he's done after this year.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty obvious move if he doesn't play well. Just
He's
like,
going to get sent down the Hudson River and fall into the ocean.
I think Tyrod Taylor will take a spot by like week 7, I'd say.
Maybe.
All right. What grade would you give the quarterback position?
C minus.
D minus?
C minus.
C minus? I went with D plus just because, like, it's been 3 years now and we've still seen the same Daniel Jones. Like, very turnover prone. Decision making is average at best.
I thought he didn't look that bad in the first preseason.
He looked better last year, but it was a pretty small sample size in 2019 and 2020 still happened, and especially 2020. That first half of games, it was rough.
Running backs are going to give a C plus.
C plus is pretty fair in my opinion. Like I like Matt Breida, I like Gary Brightwell, but they're good. They're backups.
We haven't seen the Saquon that we saw in 2018 and 2019.
And that's my biggest issue with this offense. This run game. I mean, Like if Saquon returns to full form, the offense can be a top 20 unit, but we haven't seen that for the last 2 years, and I can't like there hasn't been much proof recently that Saquon's going to be a good running back again. Like I don't think right now we're looking at a top 15, even 20 rushing attack.
Wide receivers, I'll give a C plus.
What do you expect from Galladay this year?
60 catches, 750 yards.
I'm saying like 55, 650, but he'll be disappointing for what the Giants gave him money wise.
What else is fucking new? Same
What
thing happened when they gave Victor Cruz money.
what do you give the tight end room?
F.
I was so close to giving him an F. Like
The fuck is Daniel Bellinger?
Ricky Fields Jones as your tight end one is absolutely comical.
Be tight end one
Yeah.
either.
Yeah, it's like when the Jets had Croft last year. Like you got to have at least like a somewhat decent tight end.
O line, I agree with you on C.
It's unproven, but I like the upside in some of these players. Like, what do you think of John Feliciano? We haven't talked about him.
He's decent. I think he's better than what they had.
Was Nick Gates the center last year?
For like 2 weeks before he broke his leg or some shit.
How was he?
Fine.
The D line I like a lot. Like the B grade is just because it's rather unproven, but I think it can be a top 12 unit in the NFL.
Leonard Williams is a top 75 player in football, in my opinion.
I think he's top 100. Kayvon Thibodeau is an absolute stud.
Shalicho Sholari was good last year.
Dexter Lawrence even is pretty solid.
He's probably gone after this year, but
Like those four alone, starters are very solid. It's a competent unit. And Wink's Martindale scheme likes to blitz a lot. So if Kayvon has 10 sacks as a rookie, it wouldn't shock me. Linebackers are really rough.
yeah, I'm gonna give that a D minus.
Tate Crowder has. What do you think about Tate Crowder?
Mid.
I think he's below average actually, because like
It is very kind to him.
I think he accumulates a lot of tackles, but he's pretty bad in coverage, and there wasn't much expected of him. He was Mr. Irrelevant in the 2020 draft, but him as your quote unquote starting linebacker is a terrible sign, even under a good defensive scheme. And there's not much behind him either. Like, is Blake Martinez still there?
No. Wait, yes, he is. He was just hurt last year.
I think he's the same as Tate Crowder. He's awful at this point. He's terrible in coverage. He's pretty slow, and he's like
He was good in 2020.
he was okay, but his 2019 was terrible with Green Bay, and he's a tackle merchant. He's not
I don't
actually.
think he even was with Green Bay in 2019.
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah, he was. I remember he was one of their high profile 2020 signings. Yeah,
What's
it
your
blew up in their face.
What's your cornerback grade?
C.
See, I gave it a C minus because I like Adoree Jackson. Don't get me wrong; he was pretty solid last year, good ball skills, but same time he's too inconsistent to be a cornerback one at this moment. He's a good two, excellent number three, but like losing James Bradbury, no matter like even though he had a down year last year, you say it still is going to hurt a lot, don't you think?
Yeah. I'm agreeing with you on B.
B, yeah. I think McKinney's almost elite, but there's no depth behind him. All right, who's your team MVP for this team?
I'm agreeing with Xavier McKinney.
I almost went with Andrew Thomas. It's just I think McKinney's going to be a top 8 safety this year, so that's why I gave it to him.
I'm going to agree with you on Tony and Thibodeau.
Yeah, the reason why I went with Tony here is because I could have gone Saquon. I could have gone Neil. I could have gone. There's not there's not much else. The offense is awful, but um, I think Tony's going to be explosive this year. But the injury concerns are a real issue. But if he stays healthy, he has all the tools to be a top 25 receiver in the game. Breakout player. Who do you think?
Breakout, Wandale Robinson.
I don't think like Wando is going to be necessarily a bad player, but at the same time, like he's very similar to Tony, in my opinion, and I don't think he'll get a lot of playing time unless injuries happen, which
He's their wide receiver 3 right now.
he's their 3. I thought he's the 4.
He's 3.
Shepard's the 4.
Shepard wasn't on the depth chart. He's hurt.
He's hurt again.
Yeah, he's from his ACL from last year. He
He's
hasn't
like
recovered yet.
he's like never healthy. Every year, people say he's gonna quote unquote break out, but it just never happens. It's been Galladay's. Is he 2 or 1 right now?
On
Yeah, he was like his situation wasn't good last year, but he's like I don't know if you've seen, but have you seen the videos of him in practice?
Yep.
He's giving like no effort. It's pathetic. I think the X factor is Thomas. Like, I think he'll be a big reason why this team's O-line will be improved. But other than that, like I couldn't think of any X factors. This team is that bad. What do you think about my Daniel Jones letdown pick, even though the expectations aren't that high?
I agree with you. Going to be bad.
I think we see a stat line if he starts all 17 games of 3,100 yards, 14 touchdowns, and like 13 picks. It's not going to be pretty at all. And then my rookie of the year is Evan Neal. Despite the training camp struggles, I think he's going to be fine. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going Wandale Robinson here, but I see why you did Neil.
And my record. Why don't you go first? What's your record prediction? Where do you have the wins?
5-12, and I have them 13th in the NFC.
4th in the division, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Who do you think they beat?
I think I have them beating Chicago, Seattle, Detroit, Washington, and Philly.
I have them 3-14. I think they beat. Let me see. I think they beat Houston, Washington, and the Eagles all at home. So that I don't think they win one game on the road. It's gonna be a rough season for Big Blue this year, but I think Bryce Younger sees it. CJ Stroud is well worth it, and you probably have to agree with me there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I want, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I think they'll scrap together wins.
Win a couple meaningless games at the end of the year.
Yep. This is how the Giants work.
This Giants team is going to be awful, no way around it. And tomorrow we'll be back with the Carolina prediction, and you might be shocked by it, but I'm pretty high on Carolina this year.
Me too.
That'll do it for this episode. See you guys later. Peace out. Like and subscribe.